Just minutes ago, President Obama approved a disaster declaration for West Virginia. 9 counties are dealing with a chemical spill. It contaminated the water supply. Up to 300,000 people are being told not to touch the tap water. At least 5 were treated at a hospital.
Tonight, the state has ordered the company believed to be responsible for this chemical spill to cease and desist and to inspect all its tanks. Meanwhile, FEMA is on its way here to Charleston to help deliver water to those residents who can no longer turn on the tap.
As residents of West Virginia line up for bottled water, many like Chase Tavares want to know why there was no state oversight of the chemical company that contaminated the local drinking water.
As far as what I understand, if it would have been inspected, I guess 23, 26 years it hasn't been inspected, so if it had been certified every year like they're supposed to do, then we could have avoided this whole situation.
If there's any little tiny bit of good news here in Charleston, it's that state officials say their testing of the water shows that the contamination level is going down. It's just not down far enough.
Thousands have been told the tap water is once again safe, but tonight, a new warning: pregnant women should not drink it, raising the question, what's the truth about what's in the water?
I was live on the air when the governor's first tweet went out basically announcing that this had happened.
You know, I don't think anyone had any clue what was going on. We just knew that there was a leak at Freedom.
What the chemical spill taught us is that water is extremely valuable, and we just often take it for granted because we have so much of it.
West Virginia American Water, and the governor's office issued the do not use notice.
Which is different than a boil water advisory, which is, I think, what a lot of people maybe wondered at first. Is this just a boil water advisory? We get those all the time. And it quickly became clear this was not a boil water advisory. This was something much more serious.
Or the ban on using everything, using the water for anything except to flush the toilet or to put out fires.
I think that anytime you have media affected directly by what they're reporting, it adds a sense of immediacy and urgency to their job and the way they go about doing their job.
It was extremely bizarre. I think that one of the things that makes a story like this particularly unique is that oftentimes whenever you're reporting something happens and you either go there or you make phone calls and are interacting with the situation but not necessarily involved. With this, anyone that lived in Charleston or the 9 counties that were affected were directly involved, including all the media.
This was not handled well, in my opinion, at multiple levels.
Of course, we found out later, as time went on, in the coming days and weeks, what regulations did or didn't exist, what types of enforcement of the existing regulations were even being enforced.
There really hadn't been an oversight process for above ground storage facilities in West Virginia. And the tank bill, which turned into a law, is a step in the right direction to ensuring that there is proper oversight and continued maintenance of those facilities that hopefully, will keep something like this from happening again.
We don't know as much about our waterways as we probably should.
It was clear almost immediately that no one was prepared for something like that to happen.
This was a chemical that we knew about and had been a part of the coal industry and the cleaning process for a number of years, but had not been studied very extensively. So we didn't have a lot of information from the scientific community to start with.
Scientists like me, we can sample streams every day, all day, everywhere, and we do, right? But if residents in these areas aren't aware of it, or if it doesn't become part of what they're conscious of, it has less value. And I can tell other scientists what I'm finding, but again, until the public becomes aware of what's around them, the science has less value.
I think people really need to advocate for their own safety and for their community's safety and be informed and hold people accountable.
We have to be protective of that water because so much of our state, so much of our businesses, our economy depends on it. It is not just people who care about the environment. They care about the environment because of its value to the people that live here.
I think there were so many questions about exactly what was in the water that initially, whenever they said go ahead and flush, that I will say this. I think from an economic standpoint, there were so many people that couldn't go out and afford to go get a hotel room, couldn't afford to go drive 30, 40, 50 miles to another place to take a shower, to do their laundry, to do the necessities with water, that I think that because of that situation, people just had to go ahead and use it.